phone was in his hand for 6 seconds. 6 seconds. That's all it took to destroy a man who had spent 12 years believing he was untouchable. Tunde Williams was laughing when he reached for my phone. Of course he was laughing. He was always laughing. Usually at me. "Babe, let me just check this receipt quick. My phone is dead." I handed it over without thinking. Why would I think? I had been handing this man everything for 12 years. My youth, my dignity, my silence. What was a phone? He swiped the screen, and then the notification came. I watched it happen. I watched his face change. I watched the smirk melt. I watched the color drain from his cheeks like someone had pulled a plug at the bottom of his neck. His eyes went wide. His mouth fell open. His hand started trembling so hard the phone almost slipped from his grip. He looked up at me. The man who had spent our entire marriage telling everyone that he could replace me whenever he wanted. The man who pointed at other women at family gatherings and announced that I better act right, or he would find an upgrade. The man who made me feel so small, I forgot I had ever been anything else. That man looked at me with absolute terror in his eyes, and he whispered, "Tell me this is a joke." I didn't blink. I didn't look away. I opened my mouth and I repeated the exact same words he had used to humiliate me for a decade. "Baby, I don't know what you're so worried about. If you don't like it, you can always find someone else." Then I smiled, and his whole world caught fire. But before I tell you what was on that phone, before I show you the notification that ended my husband's laughter forever, you need to understand how we got here. You need to understand 12 years of humiliation. Because the revenge only tastes sweet when you know how bitter the journey was. Before you scroll another inch, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from right now? Drop your country in the comments. I want to see how far this story travels. Nigeria, USA, UK, Canada, wherever you are, let me know. And if you've ever been underestimated by someone who should have loved you, this story is going to hit different. Let's go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the first time Tunde Williams made me feel like nothing. The first time he said it, I thought it was just a bad joke. On the 100th time, I realized it was a confession wrapped in laughter. The first joke came 3 months after our wedding. We were at his cousin's house, a Saturday afternoon. Jollof rice and small chops and too much star beer. I was in the kitchen helping the women prepare food. That's what wives did. We cooked, we served, we cleaned, we stayed invisible. I heard the men roaring with laughter in the living room. I heard Tunde's voice above all the others. "My friend, marriage is simple. You just find a woman who can cook and doesn't ask too many questions, and if she starts getting too comfortable..." He paused for effect. I could hear him smiling. "You remind her that there are plenty of other women who would take her place." The men exploded, hands slapping backs, bottles clinking. I stood frozen in the kitchen, and a wooden spoon in my hand, my heart somewhere on the floor. I told myself he was joking. Men talk like that. It doesn't mean anything. But then it happened again, and again, and again. At his sister's birthday party, he pointed at the waitress. "You see that one? If Adaora keeps gaining weight, I might have to make a phone call." Everyone laughed. His mother laughed loudest. I was standing right there, holding a tray of drinks, smiling because I didn't know what else to do. At our son Toby's naming ceremony, he grabbed the microphone. "I want to thank my wife for giving me this fine boy. She better keep giving me children, or I'll have to find someone who will." The hall erupted. People clapped. His friends raised their glasses. I stood at the back of the room, my C-section stitches still fresh. Mom wondered if I had married a monster. at every family gathering, every holiday, every Sunday dinner. Adaora, bring more food. You know, if you can't perform your duties, there are many women who can. Adaora, why are you tired? You don't even work. I'm the one providing everything. Adaora, you're lucky I married you. My mother said I could do better. His mother would nod. His friends would laugh. His siblings would look away. And I would gather the plates. And I would hide in the kitchen. And I would swallow my humiliation until my stomach was full of nothing but poison. He thought I spent my days watching TV and getting fat. He had no idea I was building a throne. It started with shea butter. My grandmother in Lagos used to make this cream. Shea butter mixed with coconut oil and some secret ingredients she never told anyone. It made your skin glow like you were lit from inside. I started mixing it in my kitchen, just for myself, just to feel like I was doing something that was mine. Tunde saw me once. What is this nonsense? He picked up a jar, sniffed it, dropped it like it was garbage. You're playing with creams while I'm out there working to feed this family? It's just a hobby, Tunde. A hobby. He laughed that cruel laugh. You need to find a hobby that makes money. Oh wait, you can't, because you're not smart enough. He walked away. I kept mixing. I started selling to friends, just WhatsApp groups at first. Hey girl, try this cream, it changed my skin. The orders grew. I opened an Etsy shop, used my maiden name, Adaora Nwachukwu, not Williams. Never Williams. The orders kept growing. I was making $500 a month, then $2,000, then $10,000. I opened a business account, in my name only. I found a manufacturer. Small batches at first. I created a brand, Zenara Beauty, named after my grandmother, Zenabu. I worked while Tunde was at the dealership. I shipped orders while the children were at school. I took business calls in the bathroom with the shower running so he couldn't hear. I was building an empire in the shadows, and he had no idea. Quick question. Have you ever had to hide something you were proud of because someone in your life would try to tear it down? Drop a in the comments if you know that feeling. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now. Because what's coming next? It's going to make you want to stand up and cheer. 5 years in, one Zenara Beauty was worth $5 million. I had a team, an office, a small one downtown that I told Tunde was a friend's place. I had meetings with investors. I had features in beauty magazines. Nobody knew Adaora Williams was Adaora Nwachukwu of Zenara Beauty. I kept my face off the brand. I hired a friend to be the face in interviews. Tunde still thought I was a housewife who couldn't do anything right. He still joked about replacing me. He still brought the smell of other women home on his collar. He still made me feel worthless. But every night after he fell asleep, I would check my accounts. I would watch the numbers grow. I would remind myself, one day, Adaora. One day you will show him exactly what you're worth. Year 7. A cosmetics conglomerate approached me. They wanted to acquire Zenara Beauty. The offer was $85 million. I would stay on as CEO, full creative control. I said yes. The first payment, $12.5 million, would hit my account on a Saturday evening. The same Saturday evening that Tunde's phone died. The same Saturday evening he asked to borrow mine. Every villain needs an audience for their destruction. Tunde had spent 12 years humiliating me in front of the people who were supposed to love me. It was only right they were there when the tables turned. It was a family gathering. Of course it was. Tunde's mother's 67th birthday. The whole family packed into our living room. His brothers, his sisters, his cousins, his friends. The same people who had watched him mock me for over a decade. The house smelled like a goosey soup, and pounded yam, Afro beats playing from the speaker, kids running around screaming, and I was in the kitchen, where I always was, washing dishes, invisible. Tunde was in the living room, where he always was, holding court, being the funny one. I heard him before I saw him. Chidi, you know what? Marriage is like a car lease. After a while, you trade in for a newer model. Laughter. Me? I'm still driving the old one because I'm a loyal man. But trust me, the upgrade is ready whenever I want it. More laughter. His mother's cackle above everyone else. I dried my hands on my apron. I walked to the doorway. I watched. Tunde saw me and smiled. That cruel, confident smile. Ah, speak of the devil. Adaora, come and greet the guests properly. You've been hiding in the kitchen all day. I walked into the room. Everyone's eyes on me. The pitying looks. The smirks. Good evening, everyone, I said softly. Oh, louder, Tunde barked. You see? This is why I say she's lucky to have me. No confidence, no ambition, just cooking and sleeping. Chidi slapped his back. Tunde, you're too much. Mama Williams shook her head with a smile. My son, take it easy on her. Some women are just simple. It's not her fault. I stood there. 12 years of this, 12 years of being the joke. But tonight was different. Tonight, I had $12.5 million sitting in an account with my name on it. Tonight, I was done being invisible. Tunde's phone buzzed, then stopped. He pulled it out, looked at the screen. Ah, dead again. This phone is useless. He looked at me. Babe, let me use your phone quick. I need to check a receipt. And that's when fate handed me the perfect moment. 6 seconds. That's how long it takes to shatter a man's entire reality. I handed him my phone. Why would I hesitate? I had nothing to hide. Or so he thought. He swiped the screen. And exactly at that moment, 7:47 p.m. on a Saturday evening, the notification came through. I saw his eyes go to the top of the screen. I saw him read it. I saw his face change. Zenara, Beauty Inc. Payment received, $12,500,000. First tranche, acquisition agreement account, Adaora Nwachukwu. He stared at the screen. The room was still full of noise, laughter, music, conversations. But Tunde was frozen. Tunde, Chidi called out. Tunde, what's wrong? No response. Tunde, his mother stood up. What is it? Tunde looked up at me. His face was gray. His hands were shaking. His mouth was opening and closing like a fish pulled from water. What is this? I didn't answer. Adaora. His voice cracked. What is this? The room went quiet now. Everyone watching. Everyone confused. It's exactly what it looks like, I said calmly. 12 million. He could barely speak. 12.5, I corrected. That's just the first payment. The full acquisition is 85. Silence. Complete silence. Mama Williams sat down heavily, her hand on her chest. Chidi's mouth was hanging open. Tunde's sisters were looking at each other with wide eyes. And Tunde, the man who had spent 12 years telling me I was worthless, looked like he was about to collapse. I don't understand, he whispered. How what? I stepped closer to him. How did the stupid wife build a company worth $85 million? How did the woman who can't do anything right create a beauty brand sold in 37 countries? How did the housewife you wanted to replace become richer than you'll ever be? I took my phone from his trembling hands. Simple, Tunde. While you were out there bragging about your upgrade, I was the upgrade. You just never looked close enough to see it. The notification was just the first domino. What came next would leave him with nothing. This is a joke. Tunde was trying to recover, trying to find his footing. This has to be some kind of scam. You, a business owner, you can barely balance a checkbook. You never let me near the checkbook, Tunde, remember? You said I was too stupid to handle money. I don't believe this. He turned to the room, looking for support. Does anyone believe this? Adaora, running a company? Silence. Not one person came to his defense. And because they had all just watched his wife reveal she was worth more than everyone in that room combined. Show me proof, Tunde demanded. Show me right now. I smiled. I pulled up my phone. I opened my banking app. I turned the screen toward him. Account balance, $14,847,233.67. 12 years of savings, investments, business profits, the first acquisition payment, all in an account he never knew existed. Tunde grabbed the back of a chair to keep from falling. How? His voice was a whisper now. How did I not know? Because you never looked at me, Tunde. You looked through me. You looked past me. You were so busy telling everyone how worthless I was, you never noticed I was building something. I stepped closer. You know what else you didn't notice? He looked at me with terror in his eyes. Jessica Cole, your girlfriend, the one in the apartment on West 34th Street. His face went white. The building she lives in? I bought it 6 months ago. I'm her landlord, Tunde. Every time you snuck over there to cheat on me, you were sleeping in my property. Gasps from around the room. Mama Williams. Jesus Christ. Chidi stepped back like he was afraid of me. Tunde's sisters were grabbing each other's arms, but I wasn't done. And that car you're so proud of? The BMW you keep saying you earned? The loan is held by a credit company called Ascend Financial. I bought that company 8 months ago. You've been making payments to me. Tunde's knees buckled. He fell into a chair. No, 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 no. Yes, Tunde. Everything you thought you owned, everything you bragged about, it all flows back to me. I leaned down to look him in the eye. The woman you said you could replace any time? She's been your landlord, your lender, and your safety net. And tonight, I'm cutting that net. Before I finish this story, I need to know, what would you do in this moment? Would you walk away? Or would you make sure he felt every ounce of what he put you through? Drop your answer in the comments. A. Walk away with my dignity. B. Make him feel all of it. Let me know. Because what Adaora does next depends on who she really is. He had begged for mercy before, from his mother, from his boss, from everyone he had ever disappointed. But he had never begged from his wife. That was about to change. Adaora. Tunde's voice was broken. Baby, please. I didn't mean any of those things I said. You know how men talk? It's just jokes. I love you. I've always loved you. Don't. One word, but it carried 12 years of weight. Don't you dare say that word to me. I stood over him now. He was sitting. I was standing. For the first time in our marriage, I was the one looking down. You don't know what love is, Tunde. Love is not humiliation. Love is not cheating. Love is not making your wife feel so small she forgets she was ever a person. I'll change. I swear to God, I'll change. You can't change who you are, and I don't want you to. I shook my head. I'm not doing this for revenge, Tunde. I'm doing this for me, for the woman I should have been all along, the woman you tried to kill with your words. I turned to face the room. Every eye was on me. Every mouth was silent. Mama Williams. I looked at my mother-in-law. For 12 years, you watched your son humiliate me. You laughed at his jokes. You told me to try harder. You said I should be grateful he married me. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I hope you raised your other sons better, because this one, I gestured at Tunde, he's going to need somewhere to stay after tonight. I turned to Chidi. You. Every time Tunde degraded me, you clapped. You cheered. You told him to keep her in line. How does it feel to watch your friend realize his wife could buy and sell all of you? Chidi looked at the floor. I turned back to Tunde. Here's what's going to happen. I've already filed for divorce, and my lawyer delivered the papers to your office yesterday. But I'm guessing you didn't go in because you were too busy with Jessica. He flinched at her name. You'll sign them. You'll take what I'm legally required to give you, which, thanks to the prenup you made me sign because you thought I had nothing, is almost nothing. Prenup? His eyes went wide. But that was supposed to protect me. It protects whoever has more assets, Tunde. I had them. I just hadn't told you yet. I picked up my bag from the chair. Jessica's lease is being terminated tomorrow. The car company will be repossessing your BMW on Monday, and I've already transferred the children's school fees to my account. They'll stay in their schools, they'll be fine, but you won't be paying for it anymore. Tunde stood up, stumbled toward me. Adaora, please. And you can't do this. I have nothing without you. I stopped at the door. I turned back one last time. Funny. That's exactly what you spent 12 years making me believe about myself. The party was over. Not just the birthday party, the entire performance that had been my marriage. But before I left, I had one more thing to say. My daughter Chiamaka was standing in the hallway, 16 years old, tears streaming down her face. But she wasn't crying sad tears. She was smiling. Mom, I know, baby. I hated how he talked to you. I hated it so much. I know. Why didn't you tell me about the company, about everything? I took her hands. Because I needed you to see this, not hear about it. See it. I looked into her eyes. I needed you to know that it's possible, that you can be underestimated your whole life and still win, that the people who mock you don't determine your future. You do. She hugged me, tight. My son Tabena came out of his room, confused, scared. Mom, is Dad okay? Your father is going to be fine, baby, but things are going to change. I need you to be strong, okay? He nodded, 12 years old and already stronger than his father ever was. I took their hands. Let's go. We're staying at a hotel tonight. Tomorrow we start our new life. We walked past the living room. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. Tunde was still sitting in the chair, staring at nothing. Mama Williams was crying. Whether from shame or shock, I didn't care. Chidi was already gone, probably calling his own wife to make sure she wasn't hiding any secrets. I didn't look at any of them, and I walked to the front door. I opened it, and then Tunde spoke. One last time. Adaora. I stopped, but I didn't turn around. All those things I said, I didn't mean them. I was just insecure. You were always better than me. I knew it. That's why I had to make you feel small. I turned my head, just slightly. I know, Tunde. I've always known. Then why didn't you leave sooner? I smiled. Because I wasn't finished yet. I needed you to see exactly what you lost. I needed everyone in this room to see what they laughed at, and I needed to prove something to myself. What? That I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to fight. I didn't need to stoop to your level. I opened the door wider. I just needed to win, and I did. I walked out. The door closed behind me. And Tunde Williams, the man who had spent 12 years joking about replacing his wife, sat alone in a room full of people, realizing that he was the one who had been replaced. Some endings are also beginnings. Mine started the moment I stopped being invisible. 3 months later, I was on the cover of Forbes. The Hidden Mogul, How Adaora Nwachukwu built an $85 million empire while the world looked away. The article told my story, all of it. The hidden years, the secret company, the husband who never knew. It went viral. Women from all over the world reached out. Thousands of messages. Hundreds of thousands. You gave me hope. I'm starting my business tomorrow. I'm leaving my husband next week. Thank you for showing me what's possible. I read every single one. Chiamaka enrolled at NYU the following year. Business major. She wants to take over Zenara someday. Tabena started therapy. He's working through his feelings about his father. He's going to be okay. And me? I bought a penthouse in Manhattan. I wear my natural hair out every single day. I've been featured in Essence, Vogue, and Oprah magazine. I am visible now, and I will never let anyone make me feel invisible again. As for Tunde, last I heard he's living with his mother. The BMW was repossessed. Jessica left him when she found out she was dating a man who had nothing. He tried to contest the divorce, tried to claim I had hidden assets. The judge laughed him out of court. He sends me messages sometimes, long paragraphs about how sorry he is, how he's changed, how he wants another chance. I don't read them. I don't need to. For 12 years, I swallowed my humiliation. I smiled while he mocked me. I served food while he laughed. I raised his children while he raised his ego. But the whole time I was building, quietly, secretly, relentlessly. And when the moment came, when that one notification flashed across the screen, I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I just smiled. Because the woman he joked about replacing had already replaced him. If this story hit you somewhere deep, if it reminded you of your own silent battle, your own secret strength, then you're in the right place. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, because here at Fate and Folklore, we believe in the ones who get overlooked, the ones who get laughed at, the ones who build in silence. Every villain falls, every underdog rises. And fate always keeps score. The next story is coming. And trust me, the karma hits even harder. Drop a comment and tell me, what's something you're building in silence right now? I want to know. African karma stories, modern folktales, timeless wisdom, perfect fate.